you brought up a point I just want to address real quick about basically you said take out the moral compass out of like, you know, women's strategies and it's rational.
Yeah.
Would you say that like when it comes to finding a mate, should guys get angry or understand that listen, girls are gonna do what they do and I can't stop it. It's just a part of how they find a rational sense to do things.
Okay. I think that anger is mostly a wasted emotion. Anger is a terrible master, but a powerful servant. Like men need to learn how to really channel.
Can you say that one more time?
Anger is a terrible master, but a powerful servant.
Nice.
Men need to learn how to use that anger and channel it into constructive action. But just expressing anger is pointless.
Right.
It makes you feel big and strong in the moment, like a bull, but the bull has actually lost control the moment he's given over into anger. Who really has control is the bullfighter who's waving the cape and can direct the bull wherever the bullfighter wants the bull to go. And that generally doesn't end well for the bull. So like men need to learn how to channel that emotional energy into constructive action as opposed to just erupting. That's going to make them feel more impotent than anything in the long run.
Nice.
Anger is a one more time. Write it down.
Anger is a terrible master, but a powerful servant. You want it to work for you. Because there is a time and a place for you to say, enough, I'm tired of this, never again. And that's actually the beginning of real change in most people's lives. You have to get angry often before things get better, because that anger is one of the only forces that is sufficiently powerful enough to overcome behavioral inertia that keeps people mired in their misery.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Fantastic.
Yeah, well said.
They're doing really well relative to men.
Absolutely.
Which basically means that if they're continuing to hang on to their hypergamy, there's a smaller and smaller pool of men that they're ever going to even consider as a potential mate.
Yep.
And these guys at the top enjoy unprecedented optionality.
Yeah.
And so you actually have a few guys who are having access to the vast majority of the sexual opportunity in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And the likelihood that any one of those guys at any given moment is going to give up all of that incredible optionality for this one woman is functionally very, very low.
Especially when you had to work to get there.
Well, that's why I say men treat women the way women treat money. Okay? We can talk about that in a second. But
when you get a chance,
what I'm saying here is
the optionality.
Yeah. The men that women want things from are the least likely to give it to them.
Yeah.
And women don't seem to understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, say what I'm saying.
The men that women most want things from are the least likely to give it to them.
Cool.
If most women say want commitment, if most women want monogamy, if most women want long-term provision, the men that they want those things from at the top, like 10%, they're the least likely to give them those things.
Facts.
They'll give them a sexual encounter. They don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
But they're very unlikely to give them those things because it means giving up all this other optionality.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they have to fight for.
Yes.
Women really
men have to earn their optionality, just like women have to earn their money.
Yep.
It's like, would you rather spend your own money or somebody else's money?
Yep.
Of course you'd rather spend someone else's money. That is rational.
Yep.
You're very loath to give up your money if you had to put your blood, sweat, and tears into earning it.
Yeah.
Men have to earn their sexual optionality. That's why they're very loath to give it up.
Yep.
They're also more likely to take it when it's offered.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard a woman who was offered money say, no, thank you.
Absolutely.
I have enough money or I have a job.
And I want to say this, and because I want you to expand on that a little bit and we'll close out. What the top 1%,
top 10% of men?
This is what I was going to say. Feminism, women being educated, women making money, etc. Women getting all these rights and privileges and all this access. What it inadvertently did and unforeseen circumstances, and no one talks about this, is it actually has put the top 1% of guys in the driver's seat. They're the ones that really control the sexual marketplace. Now, do women in general control it? Absolutely. But the reality is the guys at the absolute top have they control the sexual marketplace and they control the monopoly.
Yeah.
And women inadvertently did this by increasing their own status because they're slaves to their hypergamy. So therefore, since they are slaves to their hypergamy, and men need to always be in the social hierarchy at the top for women to be attracted, they've inadvertently given all the power to a small percentage of men that you just described are the least likely to give them what they want. So they have to settle with a guy a lot of times that's on their level or maybe lower, and they can't satisfy that hypergamous tendency. Every girl come on the podcast, oh, I dated a guy that's a bum. I've dated a guy that's less than me. Where's he at now? That's my famous response. And they never have an answer. It's fucking crickets every single time. So, yeah.
Got to be 50. I do often counsel guys to not even consider getting married or into a long-term relationship until they're at least 35.
Dude, that's my number.
35?
I'd say 35 years old, making 6 figures a year, 6 months to a year of money in savings, in shape, 50 women.
Okay, this is cool. So we talked about being a captain earlier, and you kind of resonated with that.
Yeah.
Well, I have this whole metaphor about the sexual marketplace being a dock, and the guys are like in front of their ships, and the women are going around the pier trying to figure out what boat they want to get on. Okay.
Oh.
Now, if you're a captain, you have 3 things you got to do. You got to build a ship.
Yep.
You got to learn to sail.
Yep.
And you got to plot a course.
Bam.
If you have those 3 things, you're a captain. If you don't have those 3 things, you're not a captain yet.
Hold on, let me write this down. Steal this from you, man. I'll give you credit though. Build a ship.
Build a ship. This is all going to come out in the book that I'm
I
working
always
on.
shout out my people though, man. And I think this is important to share this stuff because at the end of the day, this might reach someone that needs to hear it. And hey, that's a great example.
Absolutely. It's why I'm
Build
here,
a
sharing
ship.
the wisdom.
What was the second one?
Learn to sail.
Learn to sail and then plot a course, right?
Plot a course. So the ship is, with respect to the sexual marketplace, it's your lifestyle. It's not just your career and money, but how you spend it. I often say that men want the Barbie doll and women want all the shit the Ken doll comes with. They want to, that's why there's like Cowboy Ken and there's Disco Ken and there's Stockbroker Ken and things like that.
Yeah.
So
and then there's Black Ken.
They have him now?
Yeah, of course.
I'm kidding.
This guy, man.
So here's the thing. A woman is going to fantasize what it would be like to be next to you in your lifestyle. That's your frame. That's your ship in this metaphor.
Yeah.
And it takes time and resources to extrapolate that lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's the main way to attract, is by creating an emotionally compelling lifestyle. That doesn't necessarily have to mean bottle service and a super yacht. There's many different types of lifestyles. That's why women's romance novels are so varied. There's like the cowboy who is kind of stoic and reserved and mysterious. And then there's like the billionaire stockbroker, the high-powered guy. It's like those are 2 very different fantasies, but they can both work on the same woman. And she's like, well, I can be a cowgirl too, yeehaw, or I can be a boss bitch too. And they're trying to kind of figure out what it would be like to be on your ship with you. But it's your job to have built that ship to begin with. Then you got to learn to sail, which means you have to have some skills. You have to be a competent man to be able to do business with other men. I don't just mean actual financial transactions, but to have competent male friends that you can count on. A guy doesn't have any skills is useless to other guys. This is what society doesn't understand. I'm cooking a little bit now, so thanks for your patience.
No,
it's
keep going.
Extremely hard to be a 20-year-old man. Extremely hard.
Absolutely.
And nobody in society seems to recognize that, because you are functionally invisible to women, because all the things that women tend to sort for, status, wealth, lifestyle, you don't got it at 20 unless you're a trust funder.
Facts.
And you're also useless to men.
Facts.
Men want competent teammates.
Yes.
You don't have any competences at 20 years old. You don't know your ass from your elbow. You're a liability on my team. I got to teach you all this shit. You know what I'm saying? So you're useless to men and you're invisible to women. And then society says, go for it, get money and get laid. And it's like, oh, Jesus, that's really hard. Your first job is always your hardest to get. Your second job is the second hardest to get.
Yeah.
And it takes about 10 years to actually build anything worthwhile. You can do a lot in 10 years.
Yeah.
But it takes about that long, and you have to be willing to grind it out sometimes, for sure.
Man, the doctor's cooking.
Where's the chef at, man?
I told you guys it's going to be a great interview. I told y'all, man.
The third one is to plot a course.
Yes.
I'll just finish it up.
Yeah, please.
Which is you have to have a higher arching mission to your life. Like, where are you going to go? What's the whole point of all of this? Is it just to get laid? Like, just for that point? Or do you have a reason to be on some level? You talked about how one of the primary, if not the primary reasons why we're here on this planet is reproduce, right? There's that biological incentive. I would argue with that. But if it's only that, we have this Sisyphean hell where it's like we come together and suffer to make more babies who come together to suffer to just make more babies indefinitely. Like, why? That's the question that actually causes a great deal of human suffering on this planet. Most people are suffering because they don't know why they're suffering. So the highest form of purpose on this planet is to create meaning. It's not just about getting laid or reproducing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just creates this endless loop of genetic transmission. And what's the point?
Yeah.
You know? So why are we here suffering? Because it's hard to be here, you know? So you got to plot a course. And this is really important because like what you were talking about earlier, if you don't really know where you're going, the woman is going to start to, once she gets on board, she's going to start to change the course.
She's got to fuck with the rudder.
Well, once you go out to sea, the question is like, who really runs the ship? Does the captain run the ship, or does the passenger run the captain?
Yeah.
Who runs the ship?
Yeah.
So if you don't have that vision, and a lot of guys don't, then it's easier to fit into somebody else's vision. If you don't have a plan, you're probably part of somebody else's plan. And women tend to have relationship goals, whereas men's goals are basically like, I just kind of want to get laid and not be alone anymore.
Yeah.
That's why over time, relationships, I think, tend to prioritize women's needs and desires. Like a longer relationship goes on, the more a woman gets what she wants and the less a guy gets what he wants. That's how I see it.
No, 100% true. Relationships inherently benefit women more because women already come into a relationship at a surplus and they continue to gain more and more as the relationship continues because women are natural resource extractors. And people get really mad at me. I have a famous saying, people have stolen it, don't give me credit, but I always say all women are gold diggers, some are just better at hiding the shovel. And what I mean by that is like some girls, right? Like, yeah, right. Like less polished as you if one of your things with the professional's like, oh God, wow, this guy's crazy. What I mean by that is like some girls will dress up their gold digger activities by saying, I just want a guy with ambition. I just want a guy that can plot a course, as you're saying. I just want a guy that has goals, etc. Right? And then some other girls are more overt about it. I don't care. I want a multimillionaire. I don't want to have to work. I need a guy that could get me a mansion or a Lambo. So there's different degrees. At one extreme end, you got the overt gold digger that's like, I need a rich man that's going to take care of me and I don't want to work. Then you got other women that are like, well, I don't care about his money. He just needs to be ambitious. But all of them pretty much are identifying traits and characteristics that are integral for their ability to extract resources either immediately or in some type of future. And I think once men understand that all men are gold diggers to a certain degree, it's going to put you in a position where you understand that, wow, my value is 1000% contingent upon my performance. That's just how it is. And I think once guys understand that the burden of performance is actually on you, then you're going to understand that you're going to understand the natural hierarchy that men and women aren't equal because you're evaluated on what you provide, women or not. They can provide electively while you are required to provide mandatorily.
Yeah, you said a lot there, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The gold digger line. Well, you know, you're clearly a chef. The gold digger line made me laugh. That was pretty funny.
You got the white shirt on though.
But the
you're the chef tonight, my friend.
That's okay. I mean, the fundamental core concept there is true, and that's like the red pill in one sentence, which is you need to provide value as a man in order to access the sexual opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very nice and succinct way of putting it.
Value can mean lots of different things. It doesn't necessarily mean money. That's where I think you lose some women.
Yeah.
Because the association with gold diggers is they're just trying to extract cash from a guy.
Yeah.
Value can be defined in many different ways.
Yeah.
And it's not simply money.
Yeah.
It's obviously part of it.
Yeah.
And that's why you probably lose some women on that.
Yeah, they get mad. Yeah. But it's you know, and that's, I say that more for the men so that they understand that a little shovel might mean, oh, I just want a guy with ambition. Whereas a big shovel will mean I need a Lamborghini or I want a Bentley, right? It's like there's varying degrees, but every chick is walking around with a shovel.
The ambition line is really interesting because I have this dating strategy for women. I say, find your dark horse.
Okay.
Do you understand that idiom, dark horse?
Yeah.
A dark horse, it's like at the Kentucky Derby. The dark horse is the horse with the bad odds who actually ends up winning. I think at like the last Kentucky Derby, the horse that won had 100-to-1 odds. So whoever bet on that horse hit an enormous jackpot. So the problem with a lot of women's strategies is, Rich Cooper talks about this. They hang out at the winner's circle and try to pick the winners.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, it's always easier and safer to bet on a horse after the race is run. Yeah. You know who the winners are. But the issue is that's just one horse and maybe 100 adoring fans.
There you go.
So it's like women have to be really honest with themselves. Can you beat out 99 other women?
They think they can.
For that horse. A lot of them do.
All the time.
A lot of them do.
They really do think they can, man, which is funny.
A lot of women think that they're 1% women, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, some women don't have that. And another strategy is to try to find the winner before the race is run.
Yeah.
This requires becoming a better judge of character, to be able to like look at the horse's teeth and their forelocks or whatever the hell it is and say, oh yeah, this one's going to go the distance. And you can enter into a relationship with a guy who will be a future winner before the race is run, and then you really hit the jackpot. Because it's always easier to defend a relationship from the inside than to try to take it from the outside. Like defending a castle is always easier than capturing a castle, right?
Absolutely.
Defenders always have a slight advantage.
Yeah.
So the ambition is basically like, this guy has not just potential. Women don't really care much about potential, but he has a vision, he has a path, and he's hardworking. That's one I hear a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which basically means I'm betting on this pony before the horse is run because I think he has a good chance of going the distance.
Yeah.
And I can't compete with the other 99 women in the winner's circle. That's actually a smarter strategy for a lot of girls.
Let me ask you this, playing on analogies and stuff like this. You said women need to find their dark horse.
It's one strategy.
Yeah, that's what being able to find the winning horse, etc. Would you agree that most women suck at finding this dark horse?
Yeah.
What if I told you, I think for a woman to be good at finding a dark horse, they need an expert, and that expert is going to be someone might have practiced some equestrian in the past, etc. And I think that guy is going to be their father or their brother. And why I say that is because you have a man who's not sexually motivated to be around you, that has if it's a healthy family, a significant interest in you finding the best mate, because if you don't, they're on the hook for taking care of you, especially the dad. So they will be able to help you assess this dark horse from a better perspective, because they can see things that the woman might not be able to. And what I've realized is that a lot of times women are blinded by how the man makes them feel. We talked about Machiavellian traits before, how a man is able to, and these dark triad traits, these traits allow the woman to think that he has confidence and competence, etc., falsely, whereas a father coming in or a brother coming in would immediately detect that.
Yeah.
And I think a big reason why so many women fail, right, is we've looked at it like, as women have become more and more single and independent and have had more and more options in the dating market, well, marriage rates have plummeted. Women have report less happiness, etc. Relationships are in the toilet. Well, that's because women are making the sexual selections themselves. But I think if they bring in a trusted male individual who also is, I guess, a horse, they could tell you, hey, this guy, this horse is good. Take it. It might not look good right now, but when he gets across the finish line and beats everybody else, we'll be able to update the horseshoes. We'll be able to update the grain that the horse eats. We'll be able to update the mane and all these other things, because he's going to win. The potential is there, but women aren't able to see this.
It takes one to know one.
Yeah,
I love that. I think that was really well said. When a woman says,
you set it up my friend,
that no man has ever said no to me before in my life, that's a failing of her father and her brother.
Bam.
Absolutely. What a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, that said, some women can be very difficult to talk to. I've tried to have some of those conversations with my own sister, and it didn't often go very well.
Yeah. No, it's tough. I mean, I've had that uncomfortable conversation with my sister. I remember she was in her late 20s. She was about to go into med school, and I told her, you only have now to find your guy. You need to do it now, because you're going to get older, you're going to make more money, and you are going to be doomed. You will not be able to find a man. You need to fucking do it right now. And she ended up finding a guy, and good on her, who's also in the same profession, right? So there's some semblance of the guy has his shit together,
security,
and he's in competency and etc. But I told her straight up, because this is just what it is. Successful women end up, I always say, men become free from their success, women become prisoners of their success. And girls need to, if you're going to go into a certain profession, etc., find a guy. I mean, girls that want to do that, go to school and become educated, I tell them, find a guy while you're in school.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's a fantastic way to meet a guy because he's on the up and up. You're on the up and up. If you guys go into the same career field, that's fine. Just make sure he's better than you and go from there. But yeah, I mean, but I think have a male influence that isn't self-motivated through sexual motivation, a brother, a cousin, an uncle, some kind of trusted male counterpart. This is why I think arranged marriages work have worked so long, and why they were a thing is because even though there might have not been maybe an emotional bond, etc., to the same degree, the woman was at least cared for and taken care of from a provisioning standpoint.